I feel like we both have such different journeys when we graduated esthetician school. What did it look like for you after graduation?
Yeah, so I think that I got really lucky. And I had talked to a bunch of estheticians that graduated around the same time as me, got their license around the same time. And it took months, 6 months, a year for them to land a job. Like most people that are hiring estheticians want an esthetician with at least a little bit of experience, which makes getting a job initially straight out of school with a fresh license very, very difficult. For me, it was actually, I was at my dad's work and he was about to move across the country and I was helping him pack up his office. And one of his coworkers came to say goodbye, and my dad was so proud of me at the time. He still is. But at the time for graduating, he's introducing me and he's like, yeah, my daughter, she just graduated esthetician school. This woman, she goes, oh my gosh, my esthetician is looking to hire. And the woman that I ended up working for, who was this woman, she had a very small social media presence at the time. And I would have never found that job if I hadn't known someone that knew her. And I think me coming in, I had this kind of connection to her. I don't even know if she had anyone else apply. I don't know if I was the only one. I don't know if she had 50 and she just felt a good vibe with me. I'm not sure, but I got lucky. I got the job before I even had my license.
Oh my gosh. What lines did she carry? I'm so curious.
She carried Lyra. Yeah,
wow.
Which is how I got to know Lyra. She carried a couple other lines too.
How far was she into her business? Do you know?
She had been an esthetician for 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. I went to school. It's so funny. I went to school and I've said this before, but I actually learned with Lyra.
That's right. Yeah.
I went to school and those are the products, which I feel like is very rare. I've never heard of anybody training with Lyra because it's such a professional grade line.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that was also how many years ago?
8 years ago now.
Yeah. And I feel like Lyra at that point, I don't remember exactly when they came out. So I think maybe they were a newer line. Mm-hmm. And it kind of did what most lines do, is try to sell to schools and then grow from that point. That's what I'm assuming.
That's what I assume too. I must have gotten on right when they were launching because there were 2 skincare lines. It was Lyra and then there was another Hawaiian brand, which I thought was super cool. They had...
What was it?
It was Hanua or something.
I've never heard of that, yeah.
I could be completely butchering it. Do you know of a line that's from Hawaii?
Yes, but it's not necessarily a skincare line.
What is it? Do you remember?
It's Kai.
Kai?
Have you heard of that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was the same, but it was super interesting being in esthetician school. I was actually pregnant when I went to esthetician school, and I didn't get to try a lot of the peels. I didn't get to experience a lot like high frequency.
Yeah,
I didn't get
such a different experience than most estheticians have.
Mm-hmm. And so it was weird. It was very different for me personally because I knew I had a passion for it, and I did really well at esthetician school.
Yeah,
I was really good at learning ingredients and learning how to treat skin, but I didn't personally get to do chemical peels on myself, and I didn't get to receive the treatments unless it was strictly relaxation. And at that point, people are learning. I'm like, I don't want you to touch my skin. Yeah, it was scary, but I mean, everybody starts somewhere, and I think that's really cool that you had an opportunity before you even started. I mean, that's huge. And I think that as estheticians, and we're talking about our journeys, and people may look at us like they have, like, the grass always looks greener on the other side.
100%, yeah.
And that's why when you're going through, graduation, and then you're trying to figure out your niche, and everybody's telling you, XYZ, this is how you succeed. It's not, every story looks so different. And I think that's the beauty of graduating from esthetician school, is you really get to understand what type of esthetician that you will build into. Yeah. And I think that's something that we kind of put pressure on ourselves as like, we see social media, and I think social media is something that we have grown into in the aesthetics industry. It hasn't always been that way.
But I think we grew into it because we had to find a way to market ourselves.
Yep.
And it wasn't, we are starting our Instagram because we want to be influencers.
Yeah. And that's what's crazy now is I see like literally within the past 3 years of me being an esthetician, these past 3 years, I've seen that an esthetician almost seems like it's trendy. I don't know if you feel that way, but or maybe not even necessarily trendy, but people are inspired.
Is trendy right now, which is great for us, but also not, because so many people are saying, oh, do this, do that, and you don't have any license. You don't have any education.
Yeah. And that's where it's like people are consumed by skincare of all these influencers, but it may not be the best thing for their skin.
Yeah.
Now for you are how many years into your business?
So I don't think a lot of people realize this on my social media, but I will have been an esthetician for 6 years this coming year. And I did 3 years working for other people.
Yeah.
And then I'll be doing it 3 years on my own in April.
That's crazy. I feel like I just saw you post that you're going solo. That's crazy that 3 years has passed by.
But it also feels like forever ago when we did that first podcast. It was in my little tiny room. We made it work.
Yeah.
I thought there was no space. I thought it was going to look so cramped, but it ended up looking really good.
Yeah. It's all about perspective. I think that we go into, maybe we have like a certain idea of things and we are like, oh my gosh, this isn't enough. Yeah. And I think that for me, I saw your space in a different perspective and I literally was like, this is so cute. This is so beautiful. This is perfect. We actually shot a podcast and it was so beautiful.
Yeah,
and so,
it was a really beautiful space in that podcast.
Yeah, and I think that we all get in our head about like what other people think, or maybe it's not good enough, maybe it's not big enough, or whatever the case is. And I think that's the beauty of perspective is not realizing of how impactful something may be to the other person. For me, I was like, that was perfect. That was beautiful. I had just started my business. Yeah. And so I literally started my business. I found out that I was pregnant and we did our first podcast ever, like a guest with you.
I know you told me you were pregnant that day.
Yeah. You're the first person like in the esthetician community that knew that I was pregnant. So that's huge.
And I mean, you have the cutest little baby girl.
Thank you. She loves you.
I'm obsessed with her. I'm actually going to put her in my suitcase and take her home.
Sorry. I'm like, where is my child? She's like,
she's in Sacramento with me.
I took her home. She's a lap child.
She's happy. It's fine.
She's free on the plane. No, but I think that, again, we go into, our business and maybe other people who follow us clearly, like you have like what? Almost 40,000 followers. If somebody's just like following you right now, they're not going to understand the journey that it took to get there. And so I think that's like, it is all about perspective of the truth of what it takes to get somewhere. And I think that's something that's really missing in the aesthetic space is that we make it look like, and not purposefully, but we do make it look like it's all glitz and glamour because people are looking at our page and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to be like them. Yeah. But people don't understand like the actual struggle and the work that it takes to get there.
Only show the good things on social media. Like they really, really do. No matter how hard I try to be like, this is my skin at its worst. This is my skin at its best. I'm still not posting every single day that I'm having a mental breakdown or my money concerns or, when I feel slow or X, Y, and Z. Yep. I'm not posting that. And let's be so for real, no one else is. Yeah. Which is fine. But if you are a viewer watching us on social media, you need to be aware that we have bad days. We have bad times. And it was not super easy chocolate pudding to get to the place that we're at now,
And I think success too. I mean, we're both successful estheticians, but there are plenty of days, I mean, for me personally, that I'm like, oh my gosh, I had 3 cancellations this week. I was depending on that money. We do have bills to pay. We have to budget. There's so many different factors. And like, just because I am a fully booked esthetician doesn't mean that I have days where I'm like, oh my gosh, 3 people canceled. And that's what I was depending on. Now I have to fill those spots. And it's such a different emotional responsibility when you own your own business versus working for somebody else. And so for me, I mean, I try to be as transparent as I can be on my social media. And I have a lot of clients that follow me too on social media. So I'm not like posting the ins and outs of my life. I think there is a level of where I don't, a professionalism. And like my clients literally ask me, oh my gosh, I saw that you had your daughter's first birthday party. How was it? I don't want them asking me, hey, I saw that you had a rough day and that you didn't make the money that you were planning to, like, you know, like it's,
that I would be like, oh my God, I'm going to
like
die because that's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
And please do not post that on your public platform.
No.
Do not do that. At the end of the day, your page is your business page.
Yeah.
I don't care how many followers you have that are not your clients. Your clients follow you. Do not post anything in that realm.
Yeah.
Ever. You know, if you want to create your own close friends for just other estheticians and you want to vent on that, that's one thing. But posting anything complaining about the day that you're having, I see all the time, you know, estheticians are like, oh, shoot, I had this cancellation. This is what happens when I have a cancellation. This is why it's really hard to do cancellations. Like, please don't do this. I think that's totally okay.
Yeah.
But sitting there on your story and saying like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. Like, during COVID, when COVID first happened, I had a massage booked with a massage therapist in the area. And COVID shutdowns happened. I reached out to the massage therapist. I said, I need to cancel my appointment. I'm not going to come in. The city is shut down. I can't make it.
Yeah.
You know, this is still, I think, at least a week out. The massage therapist messaged me back and she said, if I give you a refund, it will be taking food out of my children's mouths.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
I said,
you're like, keep the money.
No, literally. I said, I mean, that's not right. Clearly.
Yeah.
You didn't perform a service on me. I canceled within cancellation time. COVID was out of my control.
That's crazy.
But that is wrong.
Yeah, that is wrong. I mean, to guilt trip your clientele is such a weird feeling. I mean, it's not. That's so unprofessional. 100%. That's crazy that you experienced that.
But there is such a fine line. Like, you have to stand up for yourself in your business. And, you know, I think
you shouldn't bring your family into your business. You should just say, hey, I understand moving forward, these are my policies, but you weren't even in that cancellation period. So to bring that in there, that's totally unacceptable. And I think that's where we have to be careful, is knowing that there is a mixture of clients and others in the aesthetic industry that are obviously inspired by us, which is absolutely amazing. But knowing that you should keep it professional on your Instagram. You should be experiencing maybe your life. Let's say for me, for example, I'm sharing, you know, my day with the kids, or even I had a hard day with the kids. You know, I think that's personable versus
100%.
My business. I had 2 cancellations today. You guys know I was depending on that money. I mean, there's a way
it's a different vibe.
Yeah, like you should never bring business into your Instagram of how much money you're making, in my opinion, or like, I mean, little subtle things here and there, which I do, is, hey, if you're a beauty professional and you want to grow your business to 6 figures, here's the platform that you can join to do so. But if you're talking about a specific day of clients that are seeing how much, like, I don't like the how much money I make in a day thing.
See, okay, unpopular opinion. I like those because it does show a realistic view. You know, if I was a new esthetician, I would be curious to see, okay, how much money can you make?
Yeah. But I feel like that's more for like TikTok.
Yes.
I think it's not like, I think Instagram and TikTok have 2 different like places, and I think you can attract a platform on your TikTok of that, but on Instagram, to be honest, I feel like clients are mostly on there.
I agree. I very much agree. I think that there should be videos, and I would love to show more about, you know, how much everything costs and how much you should budget for this and how much you should budget for that. I have had the most anxiety, the most like mentee bees about money when it comes to my business, because there's no blueprint. Okay, buy a hydrofacial machine when you have this much money. Do, a bigger location when you have this much money. Move into a storefront when you have this much money. The only thing that has ever helped me is talking to other estheticians and kind of getting an idea, but also doing what I'm comfortable with my money.
Yeah, no. And I think that's like such a good point, is that there is no handbook on do XYZ and this is what sets you up for a solo esthetician. XYZ, this is what sets you up for a storefront, because quite truthfully, like, it is a hard balance finding that outlet, like on your Instagram, to talk about those things. Because again, for Instagram, like, I would never, like, for me, the rule book is never talk about your business. Like, for me, I'm like, okay, I'm talking about my clients when they're there. I'm all about them. If I know that I'm talking, like, I would never tell my client how much I'm making or how much I'm struggling.
No.
I had 2 cancellations. Like, I would never say that in person. So why would I say that online?
Yeah.
Like, there is such a fine line between those two. But, like, there's not enough information, again, on how much estheticians like truly make, like how much are we profiting. And I do appreciate those videos. I completely agree with you. I think that there's a place for the platform, and that I think TikTok, like if you built your whole platform off of like attracting other estheticians, I think that's completely appropriate. But when you are mixing both, it's like, I don't want my clients to know how much I'm making.
No, I don't want my clients to know either. And it's, again, kind of like, well, and I can show you this number and you might think, wow, that's a lot. But you're also not seeing how much money I'm investing back into my business. Yeah. I think we talked about this earlier, but like, I pay myself a salary pay, and I pay myself what I would pay any esthetician with my experience that worked full time for my company.
Yeah. And I mean, it is kind of crazy, because people, I'm like, I don't know, like, I think that's really smart. I think that, like, on a separate note, I was just thinking right now, I'm like, what like big company is posting on their Instagram, like Chick-fil-A, Massage
That's
Envy?
so true.
Like, if they're
how
like,
much they pay their employees.
like, hey, this is how much money we made this month.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's so true. I've never thought about that before.
Like, no big company is saying like how much they're making. It's like, no, like, your social proof, and like, it's tacky. Like, if
it is,
if Target was like, hey guys, this is how much we make off of you guys, like, we would be mad. We'd be so mad.
Such a good point.
So, like, if a client is coming in and they're seeing that, they're like, well, I know how much money you make off of me. Like, I know the markup that you're making off of me.
Yeah.
If we found out the markup of Target prices, we'd be livid right now. We'd be like, I'm going to Walmart right now.
No, yeah.
So, I mean, it is all about, like, I think we look at other estheticians and we're like, oh, well, they're doing this, let me do that. And it's like,
or they're posting like, they bought this, they bought that, and it's like, oh wow, I know how much that is.
But
that's
truly,
really expensive.
every esthetician, in my opinion, has their niche. They have their platform, and every following is different. So you can't look at every single esthetician and look at their platform and be like, I need to do exactly what they're doing, because maybe your following isn't relating in that aspect. Maybe you have a local following and they don't want to see that. Maybe you have strictly estheticians. They do want to see how much you're making a day. So again, TikTok, Instagram, completely 2 different platforms, in my opinion. And who your following is, who you're marketing to, is really important. Right now, for instance, I have a mixture of both. I have my local clientele and I have my Patreon, like, my esthetician community. So I'm very careful with the things that I say on social media.
And when I wish I knew what to post and what to not post is when I first started my Instagram.
Yeah.
And I had, a couple hundred followers or even a couple thousand. I so wish I had seen a video like this to tell me, post this, post that. Because at the end of the day, if you're posting actively, if you're trying to grow your esthetician clientele, your esthetician page, eventually you are probably going to have a lot of followers.
Yeah.
Or, a decent amount of followers. And the people that started following you from the beginning are going to remember what you used to post. And I think we've seen this with, really big esthetician in the community. People have this, judgment towards her based on what she's done in the past. And I've done things, when I first started my Instagram, I posted a picture very specific picture of a mask, and the mask was on the client, and I was holding the mask, and a specific caption. And the next day, an esthetician in Sacramento posted the exact same picture, just she had taken it.
Yeah.
And I was so mad. I contacted her. I was like, this is an exact copy. You did this, you did that. I was so upset. I was so hurt. And she was not nice about it. I blocked her. But I have regrets to this day. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? I mean, honestly, I still care a little bit because it is annoying.
Yeah.
But I don't need to be on social media like, this person copied my post idea.
Yeah.
We all copy each other. Let's be so real.
I think like we need to change our perspective of copying to like inspiring.
Yes.
Like people are inspired by us, and people are always going to not like discredit what they got inspired by.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times people have like literally used my exact wording when I'm up at like literally 2 a.m. and I'm like, I literally will be like laying there, or like I'll be on my phone and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to make a reel about this. And I'll literally post my exact wording that I know that I like came up with myself. And I see a video that does better than me and is the exact same wording.
That's so frustrating.
Yeah. So like I understand the frustration, and this is something that I've never like publicly talked about because it is frustrating in that moment. And thank goodness I have a husband that can humble me and
shout out Chris.
Yeah, shout out to Chris. And like can truly just be like, hey, people are inspired by you. Maybe people aren't always the best people. Like there are bad people out there.
Well, and not necessarily bad people. Like I'm not thinking that this person is stealing my post on Instagram and they are the devil and they, you know, deserve the worst in life. Like, no.
Just give like credit, just in the caption, be like inspo.
Yeah, but sometimes they just don't know. They haven't experienced it. They don't realize that that is as bad as it think. Like I really truly think that people on Instagram see a post, they maybe remember it for a day.
Yeah.
Maybe just immediately get inspired. They do something similar. Maybe they exactly copy it. They post it. They think, well, she'll never see.
Yeah.
Which is
we
not
see
good.
Everything.
Like, it's not good. I mean, at this point, we both have like a good amount of followers that our followers are going to send us everything that they, I mean, I can't tell you how many before and afters I've had stolen of mine, and my followers immediately see it and they say, Maddie, this person.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, people are, and that's the thing I think you have to remember is that like people who love you and support you, they see your stuff daily. They see your stuff every single month.
Yeah.
They know who is, like they know who Maddie is. They knew your post. They know exactly like who you are. So I think it's like realizing that somebody can copy you, but they'll never beat you. Like truly, like they can copy a post, but it'll always get back around that it was like the original was by you.
Yeah.
And luckily nowadays Instagram has like, if you do download a reel and somebody else posts it, most of the time Instagram will recognize it and it'll say original by Skin by You.
Ooh, I love that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you do make a reel and somebody copies it or like downloads it, does the same exact thing. Instagram's like technology will, this is Milo guys. Instagram will detect
What do you
it.
think about this topic?
Yeah. What do you think? Okay, I guess he's just chilling here. But I think that like, you know, I mean, Instagram's evolving, of course, but nobody will ever beat you. Like truly. Like, I mean, we can sit here and complain about people copying us, but like people know, I mean, people see my videos all the time. They're like, hey, this looks like your video. Did this person copy you? And I'm like, that's so cool that like your brand is so recognizable that other people can message you and be like,
it is
this
very
is
cool.
you.
And I think that it also says people care about you and your business and how hard you work towards social media, because to be totally honest, social media is another full-time job. Yeah. And if you want to grow on social media, if you want to grow your clientele through social media, you need to invest a lot of time and most likely a lot of money.
Yeah. And content creation is like, I mean, it happens organic for some people. So like, let's say you're posting before and afters. Like I follow this injector. Her name's Dr. Doan. I love her. I'm very inspired by her. As you know, I've talked about her a lot this weekend. But her like work speaks for itself. She literally will post it before and after. It'll get like 3 to like 5,000 likes, and she doesn't even try. Like it's so organic for her versus like somebody who is like wanting to get into content creation. Content creation is a skill. It's something that you have to learn, because I had high quality content in the beginning and I didn't know how to utilize it. And that's the thing, is people are like, oh, you have it easy. You have high quality content. Of course, your husband is a videographer. I'm like, no, we work together, number one, and we are a team. And number two is he can give me all this high quality footage, which I've seen timeless amounts of times again and again, where he'll do a content shoot for somebody because they expect the same outcome as my Instagram and they don't know how to utilize it. It's all about your hooks. It's all about your transitions. It's all about the things that you're doing in your videos to captivate the audience. And so it takes time for you to perfect that skill. And so people don't realize how much work it actually takes. And it is sad because we're estheticians, but like if you want to grow your Instagram, truly, you're going to be known for something, and you have to showcase your work somehow. So, I think that content creation is so much more than just posting a high quality video. There's so much more that goes into it. Okay, Maddie, well, cheers. It was so much fun doing this podcast. This is our third podcast while you've been here.
Oh my gosh, already?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So thank you guys so much as always for listening. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.